Yes.
I do beat off a lot.
1 minute of show time?
I do masturbate. Quite a bit, man. And I think I do face a real problem, but I really enjoy it.
Still be okay. I understand. I said a good feeling inside of me. I went astray. I still pray a lot.
How presumptuous of you to know the will of God!
I didn't even know. But you know he doesn't go.
Seriously, how presumptuous of you to know the will of God. How presumptuous of you. I didn't mean it. But seriously, how presumptuous of you to know the will of God. You do not know the will of God. You do not know the you are human. You are weak. You do not know the world. You do not know the will of God. You do not know the will of God. I know better than you, apparently. I know to let God decide what's right and what's wrong, not you.
How does he do that?
Because how would a gay man exist if he wasn't the will of God?
Are you out of your mind?
I do have a video camera!
What's that?
You presume to know the will of God, but you do not.
See, every time he hits me, that's battery.
You're wrong, and you're wrong, and you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong to try to impose your will upon men. You're wrong.
Why are you doing it to us?
I'm the messenger of God.
How do you know that I am not a messenger of God?
You're a messenger of the devil.
So now, that was very interesting, and we tried to keep it interesting, but what's your take on that, Joe?
What's that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And what were you saying to them during the break?
Aren't you glad you had him on? Those are some really insightful comments, Joe.
Now, let me... go ahead, Joe, sorry. Now, you guys are wearing your street clothes.
Yeah.
Are you going somewhere after this?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to visit Joe after this is over.
I think it's illegal to use a megaphone after 10:30 at night or 11 o'clock at night.
You have to call the police on that
in
one.
a close proximity, especially to a neighborhood.
That was tried last night.
I guarantee you, huh?
That was tried last night.
You were gone by the police came.
No, they lied to you.
Who?
The police came and they allowed us to use the megaphones.
Really?
Yes. What's your next call? National Guard?
Where do you live?
Who are you going to call next, Joe?
Where do you live?
Doesn't matter where I live.
Oh, you want to tell me where you live, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't matter where I live.
You wouldn't like to have a megaphone at your house when you're trying to sleep, would you?
If I had girls dancing in front of my house,
tell me where you live. I'll
you.
write it down where I can go ahead and give you a little taste of your own medicine. Because I know you can't take it. You see, you guys can't take it. You can dish it out.
We don't blow the megaphone right next to your ear.
Out.
If the megaphone was right next to your ear, Joe, then you'd have a point. You just don't like what's being said. You don't like free speech. I mean, next thing you're going to tell me is you're in favor of the war. You're going to tell me you're in favor of the war next.
You didn't hear me when I said that I have never bothered you when you keep that megaphone down to a civil level. Nobody bothers you. In fact, I kind of like you being there. But you don't want to do that. You want to turn that thing up all the way and drive people away with the noise. And you're bothering the neighbors. You're bothering my customers. And that's not right. And there's nothing in that book that says it is. It does not say that you can go and be a nuisance and bother people. In fact, I think which I can't point at the place, but I'm sure it says you shouldn't. I'm sure it says you're supposed to be civil. Somewhere in that book it says you should be civil, I'm sure.
I have the verse that has why you don't understand the Bible, Joe. Right here it says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them because they are spiritual.
What has that got to do with what we just said?
Well, you can't understand this,
What
Joe.
does that have to do with what we just said?
Because you're talking ignorantly. All right? You have no
What
common
does that
sense.
have to do with what I just said?
We can tell you that this is what you do is sinful and against God. But
what does that have to do with you being so loud that you're bothering people, you're annoying
We're
them,
not
you're
really that loud, Joe.
And you're waking people.
We're not that loud.
Oh, yes,
you
are. We had a woman from 4 houses back come down here and complain about the noise. You're a liar. You're nothing but sitting there. You're a hypocrite liar. And you know what? If there's a God, you're going to hell.
Wow.
You are. You're going to hell.
Quite a tire. Where do you get that truth from, Joe?
Besides all the fat you're carrying.
Where do you get that truth
Would
from,
you allow your daughter to dance on stage?
Hell yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
You wouldn't. You don't
All I
care
care
about
about you know what I care
You don't
about?
care about
They don't
your
lie. They don't cheat. They don't steal. That they have compassion for their fellow human beings. They don't bother people when they're sleeping.
And they don't care about themselves. And you would belittle them on the stage.
You think that all my dancers don't care about themselves?
Yes, they don't care.
You're the only person that belittles them.
They don't care themselves.
You're the belittler.
They don't respect themselves.
You are the belittler.
And a guy like you just taking advantage
You go
of them.
around belittling them.
You exploit them.
You both. Every person that's an employer,
selfish gain.
Everybody that's an employer of anybody else.
You would allow your daughter to dance on stage.
Under your definition of an
What a
exploiter
father.
is an exploiter. Right?
Wow.
Is that correct?
Incredible. I can't believe you would allow your daughter.
I told you,
to dance on stage.
They're free. They're free people. They can do as they please. What I want them to be, I
you're
want
their
them to be,
father. You're not their best
I want them
friend.
to be president of the United States. But you know what? I'll be happy if they're loving, compassionate people.
Oh, you're going to send them to hell, Joe.
Yeah,
You'll allow them to dance on the table?
No.
Way to go, Dad.
No.
Way to go, Dad.
You believe in a God that would burn his children for an eternity for simple rejection.
That's
and
not his children.
I cannot believe
That's
that.
not his children. You're not his child. Somebody's lied to you, Joe.
Then why are you bothering us if we're not his children?
Well, we want you to get adopted into the family.
Well, why don't you just leave us alone?
But you don't have a clue what family
Why
is,
don't
Joe.
you leave us alone?
You don't. If you're going to allow your daughter to dance on the table,
why do you come and
the
bother
only thing
us?
you know about a family is the Addams family, Joe. You're supposed to actually protect your daughter, not put them on stage. What dad in their right mind would do that? Shame on you.
I have never put anyone on a stage. They do it from their own free will.
You lure them with money.
People are not my slaves.
You lure them with money.
No, everybody's lured with money except you.
To do
I
something
guess.
wrong.
Everybody
something
works
that's
to
going
make a
belittle
living,
them.
right? So why don't you support their children and them, and they'll get off the stage?
It's not my job to support their children. They've made these decisions, Joe. Most of those girls that are on there are most likely going to be caught up in drugs. They're weak, and you are going to take advantage of them. You're going to take advantage of them.
That's not so. My dancers are not caught up in drugs. That's a lie.
Then let's have some names of some of your dancers 10 years ago. Let's see where they're at.
Just like a football player, you have a limited time that you can do it.
And then
You're
they get
an
discarded.
idiot.
And then they get discarded,
Of course
right?
you
just throw them aside. They're no good anymore.
No, what they do is
go into prostitution.
no, what they do is they use dancing, a lot of them, to educate themselves, to put themselves through college.
Pay for their drugs.
I go to the university. They don't do drugs.
Oh yeah, you know.
I go to the University of South Florida and I speak to a criminal justice class every year. I usually see a couple of my dancers in the class going to school at the University of South Florida. I go to Stetson, I speak sometimes. Last time I was there, I saw 2 of my dancers in the audience going to law school. Okay? That's what they do. They go support themselves.
2 out of how many?
To school.
If that makes you feel better, Joe.
All right, guys, we're down to the last minute. I just want to thank everybody watching. I'm sorry we could not get to the calls. If our crew could all come up here. I also want to thank Suzette, Mark and Tony for doing our MySpace and everything else that she's done for us. Thank you guys for all coming out. I'm assuming you guys are going to the Mons after this.
Yeah, we're going to work.
Joe, you got to get the mic off. Are you getting the jump on them? Is that what you're doing?
I thought you were done.
No, we're still filming. And I just want to thank everybody. And we'll catch you all next week on the Bleepin Truth. And we're going to try and keep it lively just like we did today, every week, 10 p.m., live on Tuesday nights. Good night, everybody. You're not going to use that in here, are you?